I remember one time, guys, I did a job, a long distance job, and the customer refused to pay me. So I got really mad, called them on the phone, and called them every name in the book, and just yelled at him, screamed at him, and called him everything but a smart person. That was the wrong thing to do. What I should have done is this. Hi, guys, I'm Jae Burnham with therealjayburnham.com. How the hell are you? Today I'm going to be talking to you how to collect your debts from your clients, how to collect the money that is owed to you from your customers. Okay? The one thing I shouldn't have done was yelled at the customer. What I should have done is understood the customer. Now, I found that there's three reasons why your customer won't pay you. The first reason being they just don't have the money. They ran out of money. They're having a hard time paying the bills. They, whatever the situation, maybe a family member went to the hospital and it's just a bad situation. The second reason why a customer isn't paying you is because they're not happy with your service or product that you provided. And the third reason why they're not paying you, well, they're just out to scam you. And there is ways to handle it. So being a nice guy, being a good person, but yet still being tough and firm. All right. So the first thing, let's deal with the first person at first. The guys who just ran out of money. Things like that happen. That happens to me. I know it's happened to you. So we got to be sympathetic and empathetic to their plight. We got to get them to let us know what is really truly happening. Sometimes if it's a horrible situation, we got to get them to tell us the truth, because sometimes it's too embarrassing or they just don't want to explain it, but we got to get them to tell us the truth, because that's all we want. We just want to know what's going on. And in that case, you just got to be sympathetic and empathetic and try to work with the customer the best you can. I mean, I would rather get paid down the road in installments than not getting any money at all for my job. It's not the most ideal scene, but one, it creates loyalty with that customer and makes that customer happy with you and loyal to you, so that they'll continually use you. And they will tell people about you. Like I was in a tough time, but they worked with me. So be sympathetic. Don't be a jerk when you call them on the phone. Don't send them a nasty email or letter. Be sympathetic. Find out what's going on. Maybe they just can't pay and there's a reason for that. And if there is, work with your customer. It's okay. It's okay to get a little bit of something than nothing at all. But by doing that, then they know that you're there for them and not just here to collect a paycheck. Now, on customer number two, if they're not happy with your service, you got to handle it a little differently, but you still got to be sympathetic and empathetic. Find out what went wrong. Get them to explain why they're unhappy with your service. Sometimes it's a simple fix, and you can just, you know what, Mrs. Jones, you're right. I'm sorry. We did scratch your wall. Let me send out somebody out there to go fix your wall right away. Is that fine with you? Excellent. So we can expect your check then? Okay, great. Very good. Work with your customer. If you did something wrong, take responsibility and handle it and fix it. Even if it's to work out getting a portion of what you're supposed to be owed. If you're to do a job and it's $1,000 and your customer's not happy and it's a legitimate reason for them to not be happy, say, hey, look, you know what? We screwed up. We made an error. Give me $750 and we'll call it good. Sometimes they'll be really happy with that. And that's okay to do something like that. If you work it out and you try to work with this customer and you try to handle it and you do bend over backwards, try to help the customer, and they still don't want to pay you, well, now you've got a dilemma you have to face. This is where it comes into your personal character. You can still try to go and collect the money that is legitimately owed to you, or which will really upset this customer, and an upset customer will tell a lot of people, or you force their hand by sending it to debt collections or ultimately taking them to court. You got to weigh the good with the bad. Sometimes it's just not worth it. It's just a few bucks few $100 or something, it's probably just not worth your time to even try to collect, right? So maybe you just chalk it up as a learning experience, as a business experience, and just say, you know what, it was screwed up. I tried to work with the customer. They're still not happy. No, have the satisfaction that you did what you did, and hopefully karma will handle them later on in the future. Or if it is a lot of money, maybe you need to take them to court. You've already lost them as a customer anyway. They're already upset with you anyway. So escalating it at that point is probably not really going to hurt. But it could hurt your reputation and your reputation. So you got to weigh that up. Find out, is money more important than your reputation? That's up to you. And it's the third reason, how we handle the third person. If they're just not paying you because they want to scam you, which will happen, believe it or not, there are customers out there that are just trying to get a free ride. It's few and far between, but they do exist. Now you got to do everything possible. You got to do everything possible to prevent that from occurring. And we'll go over in another video here very soon how to prevent something like this from going on. But it's still going to happen to you. And in this case, you try to be sympathetic. You try to work with the customer. If they still aren't going to do it, then my suggestion is you got to get heavy-handed. Not being impolite, not being rude, still being a nice guy, still being empathetic. But I would suggest you at that point, attain yourself a lawyer and go after them legally. That is my recommendation. I'm not an attorney. There's different laws for every state and municipality. I suggest you attain an attorney and ask those questions to find out what you can and cannot do. Now, there's one thing you should know. If you're going to go collect a debt, there's this thing called the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. And it's a lot of rules, and you've got to, whether you're a collection agency company or you're doing it on your own, you've got to follow these rules. And if you don't follow these rules exactly to the letter, you could be sued by the customer. And it's I believe right now, it could have changed, but it's like $1,000. If you're found guilty, it's $1,000 for each offense, right? If you call them and harass them, you go to their home when they tell you not to, you call them at work. These are things that are actually against the law. And you can actually get fined if they record them and take you to court. And if you're found guilty of those, you can be fined up to $1,000 for each offense. So my suggestion, before you try to go get heavy-handed and confront the person at their house and yell really loud and tell everybody in the world that this guy owes you money, you might want to rethink that thinking, because believe it or not, the customer has a lot of rights. You don't have the right to embarrass them or to make fun of them or bully them. You just don't. There are legal ways to handle collecting money. My first and foremost solution is to be nice. Just be a nice guy. Try to be empathetic. Don't be like me that when I first yelled at that customer. That is a true story, by the way. And all I did was make that situation worse, to the point where it was they wrote a bunch of bad reports on me online and stuff, and rightfully so. I deserved it. I shouldn't have acted in such a manner. If you're out there and you've seen this video, I apologize to you. I was wrong. Please forgive me. But don't do that, folks. Don't be a jerk. Don't be the traditional debt collector that hounds and harasses and bullies. That's not okay. They're not going to go to jail if they don't pay the debt. You could sue them, and if you win, you could put liens on their houses and their cars. That can happen, or even their payroll. But you cannot harass them. Okay? So, my first and foremost, be nice. You get more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. All right, guys? So that's my solution for you, and how my simple tips and tricks on collecting debt from somebody who owes you money. All right, guys, thank you very much for coming to my channel. Thank you so much. If you had a situation like this, leave me a comment below. Let me know how you handled your situation, good or bad. I want to know. You know, maybe I'll commiserate with you if you've done something wrong, and then If you got a great tip on how to collect debt, I'll give you a shout out or something. All right. So let me know. Leave me a comment below. Also, subscribe to this channel, like it, thumbs up, and share it with your family and friends, especially if they own a business. All right, guys. Thank you so much. God bless. Have a great day.